Hey guys, sorry for the delay. I've just had a bit of a busy week. It's Ramadan time, so I'm fasting, and just had to catch up with a few friends and family. And it was actually my girlfriend's birthday today, so happy birthday to Nafisa. I don't think she's watching. If she is, well, thanks for watching, babe. But anyway, so I'm just gonna do my quick review of Raw and Smackdown for this week. So I'll start with Raw. Decent show. Well, good main events. The rest of the show I could probably do without. I wish I had Hulu actually, because I heard like the way that they compress it down is a much more fun way to watch the show and much more watchable version. But there were two main events. So the first was a triple threat match between Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Samoa Joe, and Joe picked up the win by pretty much stealing Finn's victory, because Finn had got the coup de grace over Bray Wyatt, just about to pin him, and then got thrown out of the ring by Samoa Joe, and Joe won the match. So Joe's looking strong. He ain't gonna win that Fatal 5-Way, but at least he's still looking strong. And the second main event, which I consider the real main event, and pretty much a pay-per-view caliber match, was Roman versus Seth. And to be honest, that was pretty much what saved me from completely just being like fully bored of Raw this week. It was a really good match. Roman actually won fair and square, which is very interesting. But they got to make him look strong after the Undertaker win, and also Braun, beating his ass up every week. So yeah, he won, but. My prediction still for the Fatal 5-Way is Finn's gonna win the match. I just feel like everything's kind of directing that way, and I think that's what the fans want anyway. Other segments, well, the background, I think it's showing the Golden Truth stuff. They did some vignettes, and Goldust did his usual Goldust promo backstage, and then R-Truth did his own version of a Hollywood kind of thing where it had this kind of Shaft kind of feel to it. I don't know, it is what it is. But what was really interesting and very tacky and awkward, and I really feel for both of the wrestlers involved with this, was Alexa Bliss cut a segment where it was "This Is Your Life" for Bayley, and it was just poor taste, really. It didn't work. I mean, Alexa was doing her best, but it was just really silly, and it was just making Bayley look like some little daddy's girl. And I mean, it's so weird. I mean, she's an adult, come on, and like, I don't know, it was just, the more this feud's going on, it really looks like Bayley's gonna win her belt back. But I have a feeling that they're just trying to stick to that formula that they did with Sasha and Charlotte, where they just bounced the title between each other, built their legacies up, I guess. But yeah, it was just a really odd segment. There was like a fake teacher of hers from school saying that her dad was always in class, and her fake best friend, and then her fake ex-boyfriend who said the dad was always around, and then the fake ex-boyfriend and the fake best friend ended up hooking up on camera, which is just, I don't know. The show didn't need this segment, and anyone that saw it will know it was very awkward and very strange. But and there was other things. I mean, they kind of recycle the same stuff with the cruiserweights. One thing that was fun to watch was Sasha Banks and Rich Swann do a little dance-off at the end of Rich Swann's match against Noam Dar, which he won. Sasha was looking good. I think she showed up at 205 Live this week. I didn't watch it, but they're having a mixed tag team match at Extreme Rules. And yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't think anyone cares that much. What I'm pissed off more about is that Nia Jax isn't on camera. A lot of people don't like it, but I don't know. People could say maybe think I'm biased, but I like monster heels, and I like that Nia is like her size and everything. Like they need to give her more than nothing. Like she wasn't even on the show. Enzo got beaten up backstage again, and there was some sort of hints directing it at the Revival guys, but I have a feeling it's going to be Big Cass. I think everyone's kind of thinking the same thing. And it makes sense, Big Cass might as well turn. I mean, they never won the tag titles. They're not even close to winning them, and they just have pointless feuds and rivalries. So they might as well just, make Big Cass this new heel. I mean, he'll get heat. People barely like him, and he's only likable because of the fact he's with Enzo, and he's got like a few lines that go with Enzo's promos. So other than that, I mean, he's no Test, and Test wasn't that much. But yeah, it's strange. The guy, I'm not sold on him. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe he's better on SmackDown. I mean, I almost see him being a good tag team partner for Baron Corbin somewhere down the line. Or I don't know. They both have receding hairlines too, which I noticed. But yeah, Raw was okay. I mean, I'm only mentioning what I really feel is worth mentioning. I mean, there's lower card stuff that's like, they could do without that. But yeah, Raw's tough, and without those two main events, I really feel that it was not that great of a show. So, yeah, they're lucky that they had those two main events. But yeah, go my boy Roman. I loved his match. But yeah, anyway, I'll move on to SmackDown now. So this week on SmackDown Live was actually a pretty solid show, I felt. I feel it was a saving grace for WWE this week, considering Raw was really just 3 hours of dragging out the same old stuff, but at least they had the two good main events. But in this case, they're kind of doing the same thing. They had two somewhat main events. Well, actually, I feel they had three. So they actually kicked off the show with the first match being a tag match between Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin. And it was a pretty solid match, good tag team action, and it's all just leading up to the big Money in the Bank match. But Shinsuke, he won the match for the tag team. He got the Kinshasa over KO, so yeah, solid match. I do worry a little bit about how Shinsuke's doing in SmackDown. It's really hard to say because the crowd in SmackDown's a bit friendlier, but I think for the most part, most people are happy he's on the show. He's still getting his groove, I feel. But I mean, he looked decent. It looked pretty good. And there was another match where it was between AJ versus Dolph, and dude, like, it was really interesting because it was in Atlanta, Georgia, and AJ's from, I think he's from not from Atlanta, but he's from Georgia anyway. He's from a different part. And if you know anything about the writing with WWE, the face always loses in their hometown. So he actually lost to Dolph in a very strange win. It was he got caught in the ropes, and as he got caught in the ropes, Dolph delivered a sweet chin music, or super kick anyway, onto AJ, and AJ fell and lost. It was a really strange way to win, but it makes Dolph look strong. They're actually making him look pretty solid these days. And I mean, if you look at those highlights packages of Dolph's career, I guess he does deserve to be up there. It's just, we all just want to see AJ and Shinsuke just demolishing everybody. But yeah, AJ lost. And there was a women's match that was supposed to determine the number one contender for Money in the Bank, but it all went crazy because all the ladies just started beating each other up outside of the ring, and it even got to the point where Natalya got powerbombed through the commentary table by Charlotte, and everyone was getting crazy bumps. Everyone was getting hit into the post or into the steel steps, and so Shane came out and decided, okay, look, you know what we're going to do? We're going to move this match to Money in the Bank, and we're going to make the match the first ever women's Money in the Bank match, which I'm happy with that. I was listening to Brian Alvarez's review of just this whole thing, and he hates the whole idea of ladder matches, but I think it's because he has knowledge of how much damage they take. But let's face it, man, it's going to be a sick match, and the fact that there's going to be two Money in the Bank matches, I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, that was pretty interesting, and there was a New Day actually was introduced to the SmackDown Live. They came on Talking Smack the previous week, but the Usos were cutting this promo, just doing some heel stuff, mocking the crowd about all their heroes losing. And so New Day came out and said, as per Shane McMahon, we're gonna face you guys at Money in the Bank for the titles. I feel they shouldn't win it, and that the Usos should win by a dirty finish, so that they can, kind of draw out this feud a bit longer, seeing as it just started. But you never know. It depends. I won't be surprised if they give them the title the way that they run SmackDown. It's just so crazy. But yeah, that was that. And that was what's cool about SmackDown is, you'll have your title picture, but there's actual other feuds going on. So what they did was Breezango actually started a feud with the Colognes that same night, and so they did this cool little Fashion Files segment, and it was kind of like this old 50s noir kind of film type thing. And Breezango was like more like a private investigator, and he was just talking and like, kind of like, how they did those old movies, black and white movies, and he came in and he found that their office was completely trashed, and it looked like some sort of femme fatale kind of character, and it turned out to be Tyler Breeze, sorry, and they were like, I don't know who did this, and then they found something that smelled like hibiscus and all that, so it's like, I think we figured it out, and it turned out to be the Colognes. They had a match, they beat them, but it's good that they keep those guys looking strong too. And it was really, there wasn't that much else I can think of at the top of my head. I think I covered the main things. I mean, they didn't even have Jinder really on the actual show. Like so Randy came out and cut this little promo about, I'm Randy Orton, I'm one of the greatest of all time, my family, I come from this long lineage of great wrestlers and blah blah blah, I'm Randy Orton. And Jinder just showed up on the Titantron with like the flag of India in the background, just mocking the crowd, anti-American sort of stuff. And yeah, he just said, I'm going to beat you in your own hometown. So I'm kind of annoyed that Jinder wasn't there. I just feel like if he's the champ, shouldn't he be there? But I don't know. And I think there's probably another maybe week or so before actual Money in the Bank. So maybe in the next week or so, we'll see Jinder come back. Maybe he's doing a lot of PR stuff in India, because, I mean, India's just hype over the whole thing. And I don't blame them. It's a big thing. I mean, some people might not like it, but I think it was the right move. It makes it interesting. I mean, Bray's title run was a joke, and that feud that Randy had with Bray was cool until they got to the actual turn, which was like, is that it? But anyway, overall I thought it was a pretty good SmackDown. So yeah, Raw was okay. SmackDown was way better. Like, it was actually a pretty fun show to watch. And and actually I forgot to mention for Raw earlier that there was a tag team match at the very beginning where it was Dean Ambrose and the Hardys taking on Shimaro and The Miz, and the faces went over. So I'm hoping for Raw's sake that the heels win those titles, because Raw needs to catch up with SmackDown, man. Like, it's not good that the main show, the flagship show isn't keeping up. I mean, ratings is one thing, but for overall entertainment, like, SmackDown's just kicking its ass. Like, I can barely remember, unless I like literally print out all of the matches and read it out, But for SmackDown, I can remember majority of almost 90 to 100% of everything, So I just feel they've got to do a better job with Raw. Apparently they're going through a bit of a lull period with the writing process, so they're just going to keep recycling and doing these tag matches and fatal 4-ways, 3-ways, 5-ways, whatever, until they start gearing up for SummerSlam. So if that's the case, I mean, I don't know, that's kind of weird that they would just admit that. I mean, I don't even know where these rumors come from. I'm just going by all these different news sources that I get, but either way, just hopefully Raw gets better, and I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like my page, do whatever you want, dislike it, troll me, whatever you want. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm going to post the link to my podcast that I did in the weekend with my boys Eddie and Vince, just talking about wrestling, and we're going to do it once a month, and just shooting the shit, as Austin says, just talking about wrestling. I love wrestling, I love MMA, but MMA is like that stuff you can't, I love it, but it's not something you can really drive on about too much because it's not predictable. It's not storyline stuff. It's not scripted, Whereas WWE, we all feel like maybe we know what Vince and them are thinking, And I think it's kind of fun. You can either overanalyze or just sit back and watch. I like to do both. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Ciao. 'Cause I gotta know, so say something.